assistant professor at the Universitas Bandar Lampung in Lampung Province, Indonesia. And currently, I'm also a registered professional architect at my own firm, which is Alure Consultant. So at this webinar, I would like to share one presentation with the title of Digitalization of the Construction Industry, Concept and Reality. So my presentation will be shared within this order of content. Firstly, it will be background, opportunities, concept, then issues and challenges, reality, and also then lastly the conclusions. So let me begin with the background. The construction industry in Indonesia has been contributing around 6% to the GDP, and it's continuing to grow at roughly 5% a year. And this is due to the significant increase in infrastructure development. And the investment on construction was increasing from the year 2009 to 2014, which was around 65 billion US dollar. Then increasing again with higher numbers from 2015 to 2019, which was around 95 billion, or in average it will be around 24 billion per year. And in 2019, these numbers are up to 29 billion US dollar in 1 year. And it was spent heavily on national infrastructures such as new roads, building toll roads, bridges, airports, seaports, railroads, and other local infrastructures. And construction investment in Indonesia is one of the largest in Asia, leading amongst the Southeast Asian countries, and it was driven by rapid development in all industry sectors, and also the increase in domestic demands for public services. So you can see on the charts the position of the rate of investment in Indonesian construction industry. Public infrastructure investment was part of the government 5 years strategic development from 2015 until 2019, and it aimed to spend up to around 251 billion US dollar for strategic infrastructure development, and 110 billion US dollar for basic infrastructure development or programs. And also currently, as you can see in this slide, there will be an even bigger and huge investment on the construction of Nusantara, which is the new capital of Indonesia. And constructions by the private sector are mainly on energy infrastructures, such as building oil refineries, and then transportation, toll roads, real estate or property, and also commercial buildings. And due to limited public funding, the government are actually encouraging private sector to engage in public-private partnership or PPP. And here I would like to give an example of notable private sector investment, which includes Jakarta-Bandung high-speed rails in the form of B2B between China Construction and Railways companies and state-owned companies of Indonesia. So in regard to its business environment, the number of constructions in Indonesia is rather very high. In 2016, the total registered companies were 141, 945, 59, sorry. And however, only 3% of that, or around 987 companies, were large, and only 8%, or around 18,631 companies, were medium. So the rest are the small companies. But unfortunately, most of the small construction companies are unable to sustain in this business, and their value is only accounted to less than 10% of construction market. This is because mainly infrastructure projects tend to be very capital intensive that are not favorable for small contractors. So you can see also these numbers here in this table, showing that the small contractors are actually more than the large or medium, but they only accounted for very small percent of the business, and very unlikely to be survive. And we can see here the map of the number of construction establishment, the projects. You can see mostly it's happening within the Java Island in the middle, and starting also building in Sumatra Island in the left or in the west side. And also it will be starting more and more in the central side or in the Borneo Island in the middle. So yeah, furthermore, over the past 3 years, the number of foreign companies registered and working in Indonesia has been declined. And meanwhile, the diversity of countries, foreign countries that invest in Indonesia increase. By this number, you can see that China remains to be the country that have the most construction companies in Indonesia, followed by Japan and South Korea. As required by the regulations, foreign companies must establish and register as a local business entity. And as per 2017, there were around 547 foreign construction companies registered at the National Construction Service Development Board in our national government. However, in 2021, only 189 companies are actively in operation, whereas the other 358 companies have yet to re-register. Moving to the next slide. In regard to the human resources for construction industry, the total number of people working in construction sector has increased in the last 5 years. On average, construction employs around 7% of the national workforces. And by the year 2017, over 1 million employed permanently in construction, and 7.6 million as free laborers contributed to almost 2 billion man days of construction works. And you can see here, additionally, 53 foreign licensed engineers are registered in the National Construction Service Development Board. And in this slide, you can also see the comparison between labor and then the engineer, and also the skilled laborers, which you can see the skilled laborers are less than the labor, and also about the same with the engineer. So after describing the backgrounds, I will continue from now on to share about the opportunities in our construction industry. So globally, Industry 4.0 is a trend in industry which combines automation and cyber technology. It covers robotic system, Internet of Things, cloud computing, and the AI or artificial intelligence. In relation to this, so you can see here in this slide, there are 5 trends. There will be 5 trends in the future construction, according to McKinsey. First one is higher definition surveying and geolocation with drones and advanced satellite images. Then another one will be the 5D building information technology, of which will improve project cost management. Next one will be digital collaboration and mobility, which includes various implementation in all stakeholders. Then fourth one will be the Internet of Things or IoT and advanced analytics that can change our marketing and management strategies. And the last, it's the future-proof design and constructions, which is designing with future materials and methods. And this slide, you can also see that those future trends mentioned before were actually generated as responses to these disruptive technologies that change our daily activities. Again, according to McKinsey, there are at least 12 of them. In this slide, you can see 12 of them. For example, mobile internet and Internet of Things, cloud technology, advanced robotics, autonomous and near autonomous vehicles, energy storage, 3D printing, advanced materials and renewable energy, and also other things. Here you can see all the complete 12 on this slide. And specifically on constructions, there are some of the future methods such as prefabrication and modular construction, advanced building materials, augmented reality and virtualization, big data and predictive analytics, building information modeling, and several others. So of course, in some countries, some of these methods may have already taken in place, but in some other countries, they are still considered for the coming future. That's why I tend to mention this as our future for construction. So this might be the look of the future construction site, where you have all these things connected, collaborative with robots, with site sensors, management based on digital, and then also equipment with advanced technology and so on. So going a bit detail on BIM or BIM, the building information modeling, it is a digital construction process of which prior to the actual construction work being started, its digital version would be developed, including data and information. The two keywords for BIM or BIM are intelligent and automation. So BIM can be implemented starting from the tender process, the bidding process, then design and construction process, and then the handover, finalizing the project and giving back to the client or, make the client to accept the project, and but also can be continuing up to the operation and maintenance. It is the transformation to the digital construction. So in Indonesia, the government already developed the digital construction roadmap of Indonesia. It is the way and steps to implement digital construction in Indonesia, ideally, starting from 2017 and targeting the year 2024. Now we are already in 2022. The steps will be started by inviting stakeholders to adopt BIM, create standards and curriculum for education on BIM for sure, followed by introducing license and digital marketing, then establishing the regulation for collaboration, and at the end, integrated system of construction process hopefully could be reached. Well, that is the ideal plan, but along the way, we have started facing these issues here. As you can see on this slide, there are still many issues, and I would like to dig a bit deeper on these issues in the following section. So in this section, I will share more on issues and challenges, starting with the issue of lack of coordination in construction process, such as inaccurate data or information could cause problematic decision making. Then there will be consequences on time, wasting of time, cost, you can run off the cost, and also quality can be lower than planned or expected. We could also find the over the wall syndrome, meaning that lack of coordination within a project cycle, which could cause insufficient coordination in a construction process. So if that happens, you can see this slide here that shows you what is happening with every stakeholders on the construction industry. Finds it very difficult to communicate to each other, starting from the client, project manager, structural engineer, the architect, contractor, reports how they can describe your project. Very difficult for them to evaluate. And then quantity surveyor, how the client is built and how the workers actually build it. Very simple like this. And at the end, we can see also actually that is not what the client wants. So there are also some other issues on construction projects that will be inaccurate of time and work estimation, poor site management and planning, shortage of construction materials, delays due to lack of coordination, as we can already see in previous slide, with vendors and consultants or contractors, and also inappropriate equipment, changes on design can be modified along the way, and then change order or variation order. And so having all those issues, research found that construction industry is less productive than other sectors. And construction industry is also late to adopt digitalization. Our industry, our construction industry, in our context, still needs massive working hours. Here you can see the data from Indonesian practice that showing mainly the man hours are still huge and increasing. And it is also still dominated by the non-digital workers, the manual workers. So this is the condition. It's very difficult to suddenly transform to the digital-based construction. So lastly, the conclusion part. Hopefully, I'm not going too fast. But if we have more time, I think it's good because we can have more discussion. Lastly, I would like to share some outlooks from my presentation. So, despite the dynamic of global economy and political situation locally in Indonesia, the construction industry is expected to continue to grow in years to come. As you can see, we still have a new capital to be built, and our need for infrastructure, especially on transportation, also we still have a lot of that needs to be construct. And then construction industry invites more collaborators and complexities required by global development trends, meaning that we might have to implement new technologies, new standards, for example, regarding to the safety and so on, required by the industry globally. So it will be more complex, and we have to collaborate with more stakeholders. And then construction companies and workers are essentials as the ones that are in the front line. So, but improvements and more attention for them on many factors are very important and inevitable. And the industry 4.0 and disruptive technologies trigger the introduction of digital construction. For example, the BIM. However, especially in my case in Indonesia, in our case in Malaysia, or in other maybe Southeast Asian countries or developing countries, it is still non-implementative in general for these countries. So for the future, development strategies following these keywords are required. For example, on the technology, we need to introduce the digital world. We have to digitalize all technology utilized in this construction industry. And then also we need to implement automation. And then this technology, the equipment need to be, handled as one intelligent thing. So they can adapt and they can change automatically and responsively to the issues on construction. On the people, yeah, we have to pay attention on the recruitment. When we have to find the workers, the engineers, we need to really pay attention of their skill and basic knowledge. Are they ready for this digital world or not? So this is one thing. And then if not, or if less, they need to have trainings. And then we need to build a competition, and at least the atmosphere, they have to compete with each other. so that the skill will be vastly improved. And lastly, on the process, we need to introduce, or we need not just to introduce, but yeah, actually we have to implement as much as possible the system, because this cannot be going alone or part by part, but we have to make a system that allows the digital constructions to be implemented in a proper way. And then we have to pay attention on the steps of implementation. This is not easy. It's very, very difficult because we have to meet many standards. We have to make sure they are safe, and then can contribute to increase the result of the industry. And of course, during the process, at the end, we have to make assessment whether the implementation is going to the right direction, or there are still some challenges need to be responded. So in this case, assessment is very important. So this is actually the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. You can, even though after this webinar, you can still contact me using these tools, emails, Facebook, Instagram, Line, Twitter, or WhatsApp. And during this webinar, actually, there will be a Q&A session. So looking forward for the discussion, if any. I would like to return the session to Stephanie, maybe.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fritz. Thank you for your meaningful sharing. So let's move to the Q&A session, and let's see what kind of questions students have. 然后现在我们可以进行到，像我们进行到了这个问答环节，然后同学们可以花1-2分钟时间想一下有什么问题想要问Fritz 博士。刚刚他给我们的这个讲座分享呢，也就是大概给大家介绍了一下现在在印尼这个建筑业的一些发展情况，然后还有一些存在的危机跟挑战。数字化在印尼的建筑行业中，接下来会怎样的一个应用？对，他最后给大家总结了3个部分，关于技术遇到的难题，还有过程中遇到的难题，还有人力工人以后可能会遇到这种人员问题。如果有想问问题的同学，可以直接开麦，然后用中文来提问，我们会帮同学们翻译。然后陈主任，您有没有问题也要问一下？陈主任，你闭麦了。
我们还有一些老师在线上的，看看老师们有没有什么问题，好吧？同学们也可以问，老师们也可以问，对的。
Let's see if we have questions from students or teachers.
有点在电脑同时重叠的。
我看到有个是同学还是老师开麦了是吗？误点嘛。同学们可以积极来问问题，关于任何就是因为现在建筑业，因为我们国家和印尼有很多合作，包括像雅万高铁的搭建都在印尼，所以其实有很多很大的项目，我们可以根据一些这些进行展开来问问题。Please wait a second, Dr. Fritz.
Yeah, no worries. I can wait. Maybe my presentation was too fast, I think.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
我可以提问一个问题吗？
可以可以。
我想问一问，这个就是印尼，这个建筑工人，他们应用的技术跟中国工人应用的技术有什么相似不一样的地方？刚才呢，我们听见博士他说了，这个数字化在印尼中它是得到了一部分的应用因为我们学校也有这个 BIM 所以我想问一问，除了 BIM，那些通用的技术比如说他们当地的那些地方建筑技术，他们一般是什么呢？我主要是想问这一个
问的是软件对吧？
就是说除了软件，还有没有什么其他的那种传统建筑工艺？
好的好的，谢谢。那我会把你的问题翻译成英文，告诉 Dr.FRITZ 博士，谢谢。Okay, so Dr. Fritz, there is a question from GXPC. She wanna ask you, what's the, and let's see, what are the traditional construction process or technology in Indonesia will be implemented? Like we use BIM, yeah, but it's the latest, the popular. I mean the popular software in recent years. Yeah, so for tradition or for other application or technology, what kind of technology are you using in Indonesia other than BIM?
Okay, I will try to answer this good question. If you ask about the software, we are still using, for the design process, several independent software such as AutoCAD, SketchUp, maybe some using Vectorworks and 3ds Max. Our ArchiCAD, Revit is also getting popular. That's on the design process, but in the construction, yeah, during project management, there are many project management software. We don't have a particular one that is popular. Some are using just office based software for the management, and or even for the checking the man hours and so on, or even some of them develop their own software for the project management in the construction side. And for the actual construction work, yeah, I'm talking about in general condition. Yeah, especially in the local context, in the province, not in the capital area or in the most developed area. Mainly the construction are still manual. You have to turn on the machine by your own hand. We cannot set it automatically, or we cannot monitor it using maybe camera technology, the webcam or the CCTV. So all is done basically by manual. If you talk about technology in wider sense, but if you want to ask about the software, especially on the software, yeah, those are the software that are being popular used, whether in the design process or during the construction side. Yeah, I think that's it, Stephanie. Hopefully it answered the question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dr. Fritz. Thank you for your answer. 然后 Dr. Fritz 教授回答的话，大概就是说，其实软件跟我们国家用的一些差不多，因为是那个建筑行业都普遍使用的一些基本软件， 像 BIM 可能是最近几年新出的，然后那个软件名，就是对我没有太 get，就是对，大家会经常用得到，但是因为我不是这个专业的，我只是见过，不好意思，都懂的都懂。so 然后其他还有老师或同学有问题吗？
我第二个问题，听到吗？
听到，我没开麦吗？
我想问一下，第二个问题是，就是在印尼他们通常使用的建筑材料，比如说用在民宅中，他们的建筑材料的发展趋势是什么？如果用在高层建筑中，那么他们的建筑材料又是什么？
好的，感谢提问。So Dr. Fritz, there's another question. She wanna ask her the.
It's very difficult.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I can sense that it's very difficult question. So go ahead.
Okay. So the question is about the construction materials. So what's the different material we'll be using in building a house and building a 高层建筑怎么说 high building?
Multi-story building.
Okay.
Good, nice.
Very good.
So is the question clear?
Yeah, it is very clear. For houses, normally in Indonesia we use bricks, made from clay, so clay bricks. More and more people using concrete-based bricks, which is maybe cheaper or not cheaper, but maybe quicker to find or to make. And the structure will be based on steel frame concrete, and just lesser and lesser using wood or other natural material as for the structure. But of course, for the high-rise buildings, we cannot use those natural materials yet. But I've seen some high-rise building in China, in Japan, start to be able to implement use those natural materials such as wood and bamboo, maybe. But generally, in Indonesia, for those high-rise buildings, we also use the bricks made by concrete, and because they are lighter, and some of the buildings already started to use the prefabricated concrete for the walls, and also for the structure we use steel combined with the concrete sometimes, but maybe most of them also for quicker construction they use only the steel structure. Yeah, is it okay? My question too fast?
It's okay. The speed is good. Yeah. 好，同学们可以在那个聊天窗里边看一下我们教授的回答。然后还有其他的问题吗？陈主任有问题吗？陈主任有想问的吗？
I have a question. Okay, I have a question, Professor. Okay, so do you have any understanding on China's construction digitization development like a BIM? Do you have any understanding on that?
Okay, thank you. Since you are live, can I get your name maybe?
Yeah, my name is Chen Xiao.
Professor Lin. I think you are also a lecturer, maybe. No. So for the Chinese context, yeah. To be honest, I have no update information. But as far as I know, yeah, I think it's already way advanced our situation or condition in Indonesia here. Even some of our big infrastructure projects actually done by the Chinese workers and engineers. So I'm sure, and I've seen they are using on site. They're using many tools and equipments that are not seen very much in other construction project in Indonesia. And maybe for the design process, I think BIM is already implemented. I've seen some examples of the projects that are implementing the big projects that I give as an example, that using the BIM framework for the project. And they are so I mentioned already in the slides, one of the slide that one of the project in Bandung, to connect Bandung with Jakarta, that's the previous capital city. There will be high-speed train, and for this they already collaborated with the Chinese companies. I'm sure this collaboration heavily used the BIM framework, because we are in two different regions. So BIM will be very helpful on this kind of collaboration. Yeah, that's my answer. Sorry if it's not
Thank
so
you.
much information.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
45节。
谢谢陈主任的提问。I'm sorry, Dr. Fritz. I forgot to introduce this lady to you. She is the director of international affairs in GXPC. Yeah, Miss Chen.
Oh, okay. Hello, Lause.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
好的。
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for your lecture.
对。然后如果说大家没有什么其他的问题的话，我们的问答环节可以就到这里。然后感谢博士的分享，然后也感谢陈主任还有各位老师的积极参与。陈主任还有什么想要给大家说的吗？
我小结一下吧，好吗？小结一下吧。So many thanks to Professor Fritz to your outlook on construction engineering in Southeast Asia and your sharing on the topic of digitization in the construction industry today. The transformation and upgrading of the construction industry is the most important issue for every staff in this field. On the end of this next month, 2022 China ASEAN Forum for High Quality Development of the Production and Education Integration in Intelligent Construction will be hosted by our GXPC. At the conference, participants from domestic and some ASEAN countries, industry participants, universities, enterprises, and some associations will discuss how we should work together to help improving the level of intelligent construction of buildings and industrial transformation and upgrading. So looking forward to working with the peer experts focusing on this field, like Dr. Fritz. Thank you again. Have a good day. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. I would love to come to the event. I hope I can come to the event.
Yeah, well, send you the invitation.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
好，然后感谢陈主任的发言，给我们的讲座带来了很好的总结和尾声。那么接下来进入我们讲座的最后一个环节，就是请打开大家的摄像头，一起合影。So let's move to the final part, which is the group photo. Please turn on your camera, turn on your camera, please. 快打开摄像头，同学们。OK， 所以我们的工作人员请把画面调到
Yes， 对，很好。
开的怎么样？把那个Please wait a moment.
Yeah.
现在开了。
You have to stop your screen, right?
陈主任需要把那个共享屏幕关掉吗？因为不关的话，好像那个头不是很多。我们先截一张有屏幕的，
对，截一张有题目的，对，截一张有题目的，然后这个题目能全屏吗？
可以。
全屏了，然后还有老师们吗？有的，对吧？
其他人截是可以的，我就不截了，因为我是截不到的。
你是让你的团队截还是我们这边截？
对。
OK，
我们会截。
OK， 很好。
OK， 可以了吗？准备好，我们就开始拍了哦。来，先拍一张有这个背景的。
对，
来，
是的。
OK，I will count 1, 2, 3。来，我数1, 2, 3啊。来，大家笑开心一点。来，1, 2, 3 ，smile。One more， 再来一張，來，再來一張帶背景的啊，然後一會兒我們把背景刪了，再來一次。
好，
來 ，1, 2, 3 smile。OK， 然後我們來拍一張沒有背景的。
好。我要放远点。唐嫣同学 ，OK，say cheese。
OK，
要关闭视频是吗？
不是你能矮一点吗？我头那么大。
OK，1, 2, 3 cheese。
Cheese。
One more， 1, 2, 3 cheese。 OK，good。
好 ，good。 Thank you。
Very nice.
Thank you， 陈主任。
Thank you， 拜拜。
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 Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lasse, Stephanie, Chris.
Bye bye. See you next time.
See you.